move on and shift our focus to another big update that we are getting at this point in time. And this is a very, very big statement that has been made by Centre. Centre has told Supreme Court that ethanol blending is an ongoing experiment. Results to be assessed next year. So this is the latest update that we are getting for you at this point in time. The latest is that central government has told the apex court that government's 20% ethanol blending program in petrol is still an ongoing experiment. The impact of this policy will become clearer by next year only. Let's go across to my colleague Harish, who is joining us on the broadcast right now for more on this. Harish, now this is a big statement at a time when confidence building measures are also on from the government side for people to start looking at ethanol blended petrol for their vehicles.
Yes, that's right, Hina. In fact, this statement makes one wonder whether the government's 20% ethanol policy is final or it's just an experiment. But today, the Attorney General R. Venkatamani in the Supreme Court made a very significant observation, and this observation comes at a time, and as you rightly said, when there is widespread concern whether this ethanol blending could damage older vehicles and reduce fuel efficiency. Today, in fact, the government has told Supreme Court that it is just an ongoing experiment, and a final decision will be taken after it's still an ongoing experiment, and the impact of the policy would become clearer only by next year only, and only then a final decision will be taken. And this, Hina, comes at a time when the government has been strongly advocating and supporting the measure on the grounds of three grounds like strengthening energy security, supporting farmers, and reducing emissions. Today the government saying that it still continues to be an experiment, an assessment is being made, and a final decision will only be taken next year. Remember this very significant remarks from the Attorney General who appeared for the Centre and Bharat Petroleum Company Limited came in a case where the BPCL has challenged the Karnataka High Court order, which had suggested that enhancement of the policy and asked the oil companies to accept representations from several companies and enhance the policy. But the government said that such a direction from the Karnataka High Court will unsettle the 2025-2026 policy. Therefore, it should be stayed. And very significantly, Supreme Court has ordered a status quo as far as the new allocation of new supply of ethanol is concerned. But as you rightly said, Hina, very, very big submission by the Attorney General amid the concerns of damage to older vehicles and reduced fuel efficiency if 20% ethanol policy is implemented.
But this statement is going to add to the fear in the minds of thousands of consumers who are already concerned about the impact of this blended petrol in their vehicles, because government has been trying to allay concerns by saying that there has been no widespread incidents of engine failure or vehicle breakdown. But now here you have the government telling the Supreme Court that it's just an experiment. I mean, it's going to impact people further, isn't it?
Yeah, that's so. In fact, that is why all the more this statement made by the Attorney General R. Venkatamani for the BPCL and the Centre is important. They are saying that the government is only trying to allay concerns, saying that we are still at an experiment mode and a final decision will be taken only next year. And after assessing the situation, and even now the experiments are on. And at the same time, Hina, we have to remember that government has been backing the policy, citing support to farmers, improving energy sector, and also improving fuel efficiency. But there have been widespread concern saying that this is not fit for older vehicles, and there will also be reduced fuel mileage.
All right. Thank you, Harish, for the moment, for joining us with your inputs on the story. We will slip into a very, very short break. We'll be back with lots more. Stay with us.